Hey guys, my name is Jessie Sternat. I am a senior at Concordia. So if you see me, say hi. This is my birthmark, so a lot of people know me by my birthmark. So if you see the girl with the white hair, say hi to me. I'd love to meet you. Anyways, so going into Concordia, I was going to be a DCE youth worker. And my heart kind of changed when I went on my trip to Cambodia 2 years ago. 2 years ago, May, I encountered streets and streets and streets of kids who were abused, neglected, laying there naked, and they embraced me even though, they knew I loved them, and they still embraced me because they had nobody else to embrace because their parents didn't embrace them. And that broke my heart. And when I came back, I told my mom and dad, I want to do social work, and I want to be that helping hand that we don't really see, we don't really see with our eyes, but we know it goes behind closed doors. And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but I feel like God's going to bless me in so many ways. And I want to be that person, that is there for the kid and is going through that abuse and neglect, and I can be that helping hand and look the kid in the eyes and said, you're loved and you're going to be taken care of. And hopefully one day that kid can be put into foster care. And so anyways, that's what I'm going to be talking about today is Child Protective Services. And as many of you know, I will be applying to be a CPS investigator in March, right before graduation. Woo! I'm so excited to graduate. And so right now I'm really preparing, and this presentation gave me the ability to research more about CPS, and so I'm very excited to share with you today. So family services. Families obviously are a huge factor of abuse and neglect that goes on in our state and in the United States. And so the family services offered in CPS is fostering connections, family-based safety services, family group decision-making, and parenting classes. So this is what's offered for families right now. So as an investigator, my job daily I'll have about 3 to 4 cases that I'll have of children where I'll go into homes, investigate reports that have been given to me of abuse and neglect of children, and there's also the option of me going into homes and providing services to the children and families in the home that are going through abuse and neglect to help before anything other has to really happen through the state and the court. And another thing that I'll have to do is placing children in foster care. And one day I hope to transition from investigations to foster care. But yeah, I'll have a kid and I'll have to place him or her in the right home through the foster care system. And then providing services to help youth in foster care successfully transition to adulthood. So after this kid is put into foster care, there will be other services to help that kid throughout his youth, because being a teenager is not fun, and they need that connection with somebody else to help them. And then the last one was helping children get adopted. So after I take the kid out of the abuse home, we'll have to deal with adoption agencies, and that kind of honestly scares me because I've just heard, adoptions, don't really work real quick and real easy. So I have to keep that in mind. So in a CPS investigation, a caseworker may interview family members and others with knowledge to get enough information to make safety decisions and to know if that abuse is really going on. Because often CPS gets phone calls from kids, saying, my parents are abusing me, but is the abuse really going on? Kids can make up stories, so that's when the caseworker has to go in the home and make sure the abuse is really not going on. And so CPS, at the end of every investigation, CPS makes a ruling on each allegation, and then this ruling is called disposition. And I will tell you what disposition is. It has 5 key kind of figures for it. So the first one is a reason to believe. Abuse or neglect occurred based on a phenomenon of the evidence. The second one is ruled out. Staff determines that it is reasonable to conclude that the abuse or neglect has not occurred based on the information that is available. The third is unable to complete. The investigation cannot be concluded. This is usually because the family could not be located to begin the investigation, or the family was contacted but later moved and cannot be located to complete the investigation, or the family refused to cooperate with the investigation, and that's when the law enforcement will get involved. The fourth is unable to determine. CPS concludes that none of the dispositions above is appropriate. So looking at the past three, the believe, the ruled out, unable to complete, they looked at the past three up, and they said, it is, none of them are appropriate, and this is not really abuse going on. And then the fifth was administrative closure. Child Protective Services intervention is unwarranted based on information that comes to light after the case is assigned for investigation. So with time frames for a caseworker, the caseworker makes every intent to do the investigations within 30 days from the report. But however, if you have so many caseloads, you're going to have to go to your supervisor, and your supervisor can then approve an extension for another 30 days or however long it needs to be. Because often CPS investigators get overloaded with cases, so they have to have enough time for each case so it's done right and nothing's going wrong. So law enforcement is huge because all reports can be referred as breaking the law, and CPS works with the law a lot with criminal prosecution, and with abuse, the law will come into play. And then please have a pen down and write this down. The Texas Abuse Hotline. It's 1-800-252-5400. Again, it's 1-800-252-5400. And what can you report? Child abuse and neglect. I think as many of you are going into teaching, and I know some of you will always encounter kids no matter where you go. If I don't want anything to go unnoticed, I want you to write this number down, because as many of you are going into teaching, you could see signs of abuse and neglect. And I've had many family members and friends tell me I've had to report before. And it wasn't easy, it wasn't fun, but at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do, because if abuse and neglect is going on and you're noticing marks or hearing the student talk about it, you need to report it and be their best man or woman for them. So report priorities. There's two different report priorities in CPS. The first one is priority 1, and the second one is priority 2. Priority 1 includes all reports of children who appear to face an immediate risk. And priority 2 is something that doesn't need to be reported right away in that moment, because it's not super important compared to priority 1. So the salary, I think we always hear the salary for CPS workers is, underpaid. And CPS workers do a lot for our state and for, everybody. It's just hard to believe. Even like teachers, I think teachers are super underpaid and should be paid a ton more, dealing with students all day. So the starting salary for CPS is around $37,000, and I'm hoping to make my way up someday or go back and get my master's. But I will not be the breadwinner when I get married. But I'm proud of myself for getting a college degree and putting my foot in the door in social work. And even with social work, I had a little phone interview the other day, and they said I could apply just having an AA degree. And, I was thinking about I could just drop everything and start applying, but I'm a senior, and I'm ready to get my BA and say, wow, I got my bachelor's degree, and I have a real job now, and I want to look back and know that I worked my hardest and I picked the right career choice for me. So it's all for the glory of God. I don't think money is everything. So yeah, I'm excited. The DPF mission for y'all, I want to leave you with this. The mission of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services is to protect children, the elderly, and people with disabilities from abuse, neglect, and exploitation by involving clients, families, and communities. And the DPFS values is we protect the unprotected. We involve clients, families, and communities in decision making. We provide quality services. We are innovative and strive for excellence. We are ethical and accountable. We provide diversity, and we value our staff. So I hope this presentation kind of got your mind flowing about CPS and how social work works. And I hope to see y'all around school. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bye.